Here's the thing. Love Detroit. Love what they're doing. Top of the league in defense.
11-game win streak right now.
11-game win streak. Dennis Jenkins, if that is his first name, I'm sorry if it's not.
It is.
If I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's been awesome. Just the foundation JB Bickerstaff has built for this team and building a culture and everybody walking into that arena being a part of that culture and living that culture on the court. Like you mentioned, Jalen Duren, Ron Holland, his energy off the bench, Asar, his defense, Tobias Harris, his veteranship. Like everybody has been a plus for them. And I think trading for Lauri, I don't know if it changes the ceiling too much of the team. I feel like this team needs an all-in move or nothing. Like just ride with the youth and keep improving. Because unless it's like, and I've said this before, unless it's unless it's D-Book, I'm good.
Fire.
Like I won't move for Zach.
Come back on Michigan.
Yeah, I won't move for Lauri. Okay. Unless it's that all-in move to pair Cade with a real legit scorer opposite of him, like Devin Booker. Maybe, yeah, like a shot creator. Yeah, like unless we get some of that, because we gonna have to move a ton. And, unless we doing that, I'm cool off I like the team they have. I like the identity they have. Plus, you don't want to bring in a Lauri who's kind of been in Utah. You don't know what type of value he can bring also to the foundation of what they built. You don't want to ruin that. I think that's the important part to bring Detroit back from what it was, is building this foundation. And now you got, Cade getting his sneaker deal. Got all the young players playing well. You got guys coming off for two ways playing well. Guys building that foundation in the locker room, having the chain on and stuff like that. I just think you can't ruin that with bringing in a player you don't really know what you're going to get. That's why I think it's either Devin Booker, maybe even a Giannis, just an all-in big swing or nothing.
Sometimes it's the moves that you don't make which set you up to become a contender. A lot of the time teams will jump at the first bite at the apple, the first move that comes available, and then a better opportunity and a better fit will kind of present itself 6 months later. I think in the NBA landscape, you make a great point. There's always a constant flow of star players being moved that you should honestly be patient, even in moments where, if you want to start with talking about this Piston team now, this team being the first seed in the Eastern Conference to me is incredible because of the fact we've seen them
Detroit
break through in a variety of different ways. I think one of the most underlooked parts is this front court with Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. When those two are on the floor, they're a plus 16. And we're watching Jalen Duren average 20 points per game on 72% true shooting. He's taking 11 shots a game, and he's averaging over 20 a night. And he just turned 22 years old. He's averaging 12 rebounds a game. And then you add in the element of Isaiah Stewart defensively, who, after Wemby, has been one of the league leaders in shot blocks. And defensively, he's played an invaluable role for years. This has gone kind of largely unnoticed. And then you add on top of that just the layer of guys like Dennis Jenkins stepping in and the absence of Jaden Ivey. And I think we saw in Summer League a little bit against the Rockets. I was watching him guard Reed Shepherd and saying to myself, this is a legit kind of under-the-radar rotation player developing. And the Pistons kind of found him out of nowhere. A Rick Pitino product out of Iona. University of Pacific is where he started. I think he went to St. John's. So he finished off at St. John's. Just the depth that they have is really incredible, and then you're going to get Jaden Ivey back sooner rather than later.
And this is his one chance because he has to get extended, and clock's ticking. This team is 11. If you come back and this team starts to trend downwards with you, they're moving you.
He needs to add to what they're already doing. I think Jalen Duren has been jaw dropping this year, and his ability to handle the ball, his size. Yep. I mean, he really has great handle for his size. And the efficiency that he's doing it on, it's not like he's just getting force-fed baskets. A lot of these are being self-created. Yep. And, his build, ever since he came into the league and was like a raw player, he was coined the nickname of like Baby Dwight Howard. It's because he had the frame of him, and now we're seeing him grow into that. And who's to tell what his ceiling is?
Bro, he's only 22.
When he's 22 years old, averaging 22 and 11. And he legitimately, just even at 6'10", that was the same height as Dwight Howard, he looks like a man amongst boys out there. He's able to dominate in a way that very few players can.
It's hard to describe. When we walked by him in Summer League 2 years ago, I was like...
We were shook.
That's...
Who the fuck is this behemoth,
physically,
dude?
Looked a lot bigger than 6'10".
Bro, he looked
you see that.
like, bro, he looked like he's built like a rock, bro, like 6'10", bro.
No,
we walked
he's
past
ridiculous.
Probably 50 NBA players in Summer League. None of them had the presence that Jalen Duren did.
Jalen Duren had aura?
Nah, he did, bro. We kept looking back like, bro, is that Jalen Duren, bro? Like, mind you, we didn't get shook by nobody. Like, it's like him. It was just like, damn, like.
It's hard to explain. It's something you had to feel.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt that.
Not a whole lot of words.
We got into the element.
He's speechless. John is speechless at this point.
Jalen Duren was like Yeah.
But they've been great. Like
he had on all black too.
Oh yeah,
and it was in Vegas. Boy was
he was locked in. He was locked in. Nah, but man, with the Pistons, I like how it's just been a next man up mentality. Mm-hmm. Dennis Jenkins has been awesome for them. Cade Cunningham, he's taken another leap into becoming a superstar player.
3-point shot to fly.
Like one of the 10 best players in the world. Like I think he's putting himself in a tier where you can argue him over a lot of other players that maybe more established, or that maybe are around the same age bracket as him. I think he's putting himself in some real elite company with his play. And I think what you mentioned about like Detroit being a team that has to build on their foundation, I think there's two types of teams. I think there's builders and there's buyers. I think Detroit always has and should be and remain a builder. Yeah. There are certain markets that are buyers. You think about LA and the Lakers, they buy their way to success with big time free agent acquisitions. That's what they do. The Pistons have always been a team that they are making under the radar trades. They're making a great draft pick. You look at the bad boy Pistons and the core that they built, the championship 04 team. Rasheed Wallace was undervalued. They made a trade for him. Richard Hamilton coming from Washington, they make a trade for him. But Tayshaun Prince was developed in Detroit. Like that type of attitude, I feel like if it's not they're more so a team that needs to make moves around the edges than try to just bring on like the next star that comes in.
It's like a Trey Murphy.
Like a Trey Murphy, I think like a Quentin Grimes if Jaden Ivey doesn't, fit well with them. And he was there and they traded him. But, I just think that they need to find players that also they mirror the mentality of what Detroit is. And I don't know Lauri Markkanen personally. I don't know if he does fit that at all. That's for them to decide. But it feels like right now they're first in the East. There's no reason to make a major shakeup to the roster. You make major shakeups when you're desperate. When you feel like you need an injection of something to your team to take you to the next level. I think Detroit has everything it needs in-house, and they just have to remain patient. And remaining patient has led to them now seeing the fruits of Jalen Duren's breakout year. They remained patient with him. At one point, it was the defensive lapses. It was really, not understanding what to do. And now he's blossomed into a complete player.
It's completely 180. I think you make a good point. Because a lot of the time in these like younger environments, I think we tend to kind of lack patience, and it's a virtue. I also do believe that this Eastern Conference is very wide open.
It is.
And a lot of the time what takes you from point A to C is not going to necessarily take you to point D. I look at the Cavs without Garland and kind of the uncertainty if he'll fully recover from his toe injury. And then the Celtics and Pacers both being out of the picture. And I feel like that this Piston team this year could very easily make their way to the conference finals. We saw them last year push the Knicks. And it kind of made people question the Knicks. And then we watched them kind of take care of business against the Celtics the following round. So they've been ahead of schedule every single year. Well, the last 2 years, obviously, going from a 13-win team to this. But I do believe that with the culture they've built, which is a testament to JB Bickerstaff too, and the fact that Cade is ascending into an MVP caliber player. I know his efficiency is not there, particularly from three-point land, but I'm expecting that to improve. When you have an MVP level player at this, the best defense in the Eastern Conference, the best defense outside of the Oklahoma City, which is historically good right now, and this level of depth, I think there becomes a certain point in time where you do need to consolidate that depth because you can't develop all of these players that you've taken the last 3 years. And I would not be surprised if that comes this trade deadline. A lot like we saw 2 years ago, and the Pacers got Pascal Siakam.
So do you think they need like a Lauri Markkanen or just like an Alex Caruso type, like going to OKC?
I would want a second creator offensively. So
for sure. Maybe like if you can like maybe just go check that price on Cam Thomas, just to, might not have to send them a ton. Bring him in off the bench. Low, his value's low. He's on a 1 year deal.
But in theory, this should be Jaden Ivey.
Yes. 100%.
So like, Jaden Ivey can become what we're describing right now.
This would be like Jaden Ivey would solve a ton of problems.
And he was playing well before he got hurt. I mean, he was efficient.
He's shooting very well.
Cade, I think, was hurt at that time too.
Okay.
It's for Detroit. I push patience because I think they've been patient and they've been really patient and they eventually got their strike. I also think the moves they made to bring in guys like Tobias, to bring in guys like Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, who's been shooting the ball extremely well. Bring in guys like that and then draft the Dermans, the Stewarts, the Cades, the Sars, Ron Holly, even a guy like Javonte Green who's been giving them constant energy off that bench. Yeah, for a little bit.
Javonte Green, by the way, is one of the best.
He's been solid for them, filling in guys like Bobby Clinton.
Green.
Like this team he's
good.
Yeah, this team is just bringing in guys and they're just playing well. These are a lot of guys they've drafted.
He's been one of those players that like
he's a new PJ
I've
Tucker,
always
bro.
wanted him. Really, that's what it is in my mind just now. But he's always been one of those players I feel like deserve more minutes, but just never got them. But whenever he played, it just felt like he should play more.
He's been like the perfect 10th man throughout his entire career.
He's been on the Bulls for a while.
Yeah,
because at times sometimes he couldn't shoot the 3 ball, so it's hard to keep him out there.
Defense though,
but the cutting and the energy that he brought. I think another crazy part of this too is that I do believe that Jaden Ivey have to wait and see when he gets healthy. It's kind of crazy to think that Jaden and Cade have only played 94 games together in 4 years.
That's crazy.
Because I think Ivy last year, 2 years ago, got benched. Monty Williams kept benching for a ton.
Yeah.
Cade missed a year, if I'm not mistaken.
His rookie year, Cade was out.
Yeah, so that was how that went. Yeah, and then last year, Ivy got hurt.
And Cade's mentioned this, like, we've hardly played together. I think we saw last year Jaden in 30 games shoot 40% from 3. I don't think it's quite that level sustainable.
Yeah.
But if that 3-point shooting is closer to 37% on volume, I think it makes his prospects completely different.
What has Cade said about him?
Cade highlighted the fact that he's like, I've hardly played Jaden Ivey. And I feel like that's something like internally, like they're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think that could be something, maybe it's a little bit of growing pain at first, but long term, I could see it really paying off.
Yeah, it's like, it gives you confidence that he might become the guy that they need exactly, and I think he's shown the ability to do that. Detroit is in a really good spot right now.
They're in a great spot.
They're in a great spot. They're number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Goes without showing.
I can't remember a turnaround within a year and a half this drastic.
I called it, John.
We're in the middle of November, and they've matched their win total from 2 years ago.
I said, Detroit top 3 seed, man. They slept on it, John.